It is time for my All Blacks player ratings for their performance against the Lions at Ellis Park, the final game, club vs country, for Rugby's greatest rivalry series. Now, I can already tell you this is going to be a very difficult player ratings to do because this game was a bit different. The style of rugby was a bit different. The opposition was a bit different, but it was a really entertaining game as a neutral. Now, if you guys have been watching my videos, you know I've been very transparent with all these player ratings, and there will be some positive player ratings and there will be some negative ones. Please let me know down below in the comments if you agree, and if you do disagree, let me know why. Let's talk about it. I really do appreciate all the comments that all the All Blacks fans have been doing on the channel. I mean, the support has been out of this world. I mean, I wake up every morning shocked with how the views are, so I really do appreciate it. Of course, if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. It helps so much and I really appreciate it all. But let's get right into it, starting off with number 1, Siali Luaki, and I'm literally doing it right now. The game just ended. I just did the match reaction. I'm kind of processing the game in my head right now, so some of these might not be right, so that's why I need your guys' help in the comments as well if I did get any wrong. But for Siali Luaki, I'm going for a 4 out of 10. I thought he was really poor today, and now that being said, he's still very inexperienced, and for some of these performances you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. This isn't the end of his All Blacks career. It just was not a good day in the office for him. So a 4 out of 10 for him. Okay at scrum time, okay around the park, not his best performance at all. Moving on to number 2, Samisoni Taukei'aho. I've gone for a 5 out of 10. Now, I thought he worked very hard, but I thought the output he did today wasn't that best. His actual impact in the game was not the best today. I thought his lineouts was solid. I thought at scrum time he was decent, but I thought he could have been a lot more physically dominant today. A guy that we expect to be really dominant every single time he gets the ball. A guy that outplayed Asafa Amua, was starting ahead of Cody Taylor as well for a few games a few seasons ago. He's not playing at his best right now. I've gone for a 5 out of 10 because for Samisoni Taukei'aho, especially tonight, they needed a guy like him up front to be a leader, to be dominant, and he just wasn't that. He was solid without being great, so a 5 out of 10. Moving on to number 3, Pasilio Tosi. I've gone for a 6 out of 10. I think the most memorable thing from this game will be the line break for him. I think he'll probably remember for the rest of his rugby career. I thought from the front row, he was probably one of the better players today, and I thought some of the younger guys for the All Blacks today, maybe there was a bit of nerves, and I thought the Lions just played some really beautiful rugby today. I mean, I think if you guys are All Blacks fans watching this, you can probably agree that the Lions just played some absolutely outstanding rugby today, and it made it very difficult for these All Blacks players. They've been playing against kind of slow, physical opposition, kind of one-dimensional opposition the last few weeks, where today they played against a very mobile unit and it made it very difficult. But a 4 out of 10 for Siali Luaki, 5 out of 10 for Taukei'aho, and a 6 out of 10 for Pasilio Tosi. So not the best day in the office for them, but they can definitely regroup from this and get another opportunity going forward. Number 4, Sam Darry. I've gone for a 6 out of 10. Decent performance. I thought early on in the game he was quite poor, but then he kind of built momentum throughout the game, got better as the game went on, got some good carries, was a bit more physical, but still was nowhere near his performances from the Nations Championship. And if he's doing that against countries and he's kind of taking it down a level playing now against the club team, I can't rate him that high, so it's got to be a 6 out of 10 for him. And I'm going for a 6 out of 10 as well for Patrick Tuipulotu. But that being said, he did get hooked quite early on into the second half. Could that be kind of a precursor for him Dave Rennie showing that he will be playing against the Springboks this weekend? I think it might be. Of course, I will be doing that video, who should Dave Rennie pick, coming out tomorrow. That's going to be a very fun one. I think a lot of people have different teams, different perceptions of who they think is going to be picked, but I think that does show some kind of intent from Dave Rennie pulling him off early. So a 6 out of 10 for both the locks. They weren't that dominant today, and I thought the Lions, for not the biggest team at all, were very physical today, and there were some really good performances from their players. Number 6, Ethan Blackadder. I've got to go for an 8 out of 10 for Ethan Blackadder. I thought he was absolutely brilliant today, and of course you can argue, oh, it's against the club team and all that, but still, he did his job almost to perfection today. He was a nuisance at the breakdown. He was physical, and he just plays with so much ferocity and he's so much intensity, and I really do like that about him. I think he might just be featuring next week at Soccer City in Johannesburg, in Soweto, against the Springboks. I think there might be a few of these guys that maybe stay behind a week, kind of don't go down to sea level, stay at the altitude level, get ready for next week's game against the Springboks. And I think Ethan Blackadder might just be one of those guys coming off the bench next week against the Springboks. For Wallace Atiti, I've gone for a 7 out of 10. A much better performance from Wallace Atiti. He was really physical with ball in hand. He was almost too physical for the players around him. I thought the All Blacks were quite slow with their cleans today, not really on the ball, on the money with the accuracy at the breakdown like they were at the weekend. I mean, for the Springboks at the weekend, you'd see Jasper Wiese would be so physical, breaking through contact, and there was no support around him. Kind of the same today for Wallace Atiti. He was really dominant with ball in hand, very explosive, much better performance from Wallace Atiti. So I've gone for a 7 out of 10. Still not a perfect performance from him, but a much better performance. And I think given the kind of the occasion it was and the way the Lions played, he did really well with the opportunities he was given. I think he did grow throughout the game as well. Moving on to number 8, Semesi Tupo Ta'alioa. I hope I said that one right. Very difficult to say. Unfortunately, I'm going for a 5 out of 10. Now, I think a lot of people might disagree with this, but I looked at the stats. Even at halftime, I had to go look at my phone and see who is the number 8 today for the All Blacks, because I didn't see much of him. Not his best performance at all, but I do think that's a bit of a product of his surroundings. Didn't get that many opportunities, but also when he did have the ball, he wasn't that effective with it. Got held up a few times. Kind of the ball got slowed down when he was carrying into contact. And I did see the comments saying he is like the next Jasper Wiese for the All Blacks, and I do see the potential. I think he's a very good player. Of course, these young guys, they have so much time to grow throughout their careers, and playing a game like this against a very kind of tenacious, motivated Lions team on a Tuesday night at Ellis Park, probably the last place they want to be right now. I think you can see that some of these guys, it was a big occasion for them. Some of them were maybe playing with a bit of nerves. And talking about nerves, Noah Houghton, number 9, I'm going for a 3 out of 10. Really poor performance from him, and I do feel sorry for him because you could just see with his passing, with his decision making, he's not a bad player at all. In fact, he's a very good player, but he was just so nervous tonight. You could just see the way he was playing. I think I counted one solid good spiral pass from him today. The rest were really poor passes, poor passing speed, poor decision making at the breakdown, gave a few tries away, a few bad box kicks, and I think that really will hurt him going forward. But once again, I don't think Dave Rennie is there to kind of kill not the dreams, but kill the confidence of these players. In fact, I think he's probably one of the best guys to have as a coach, because he'll keep it 100% real with the players. He will tell Noah Houghton how bad he was, and I think Noah Houghton himself will know just how bad he was. I think that film session, the board session after this game, will be very, very tough for a guy like him. But of course, he's surrounded by guys like Richie Mwanga, Rika Ioane, Bowden Barrett. They're going to be there to console him. They're going to be there to help him get better. He's surrounded by guys like Cam Roygard as well. He's got such a long way to go in his career. A very bad performance from him tonight, but that's not his whole career done. I mean, you realistically, you cannot base a player's career and how good or bad they are on one game. You just can't do that, because if you did that, you'd say Jesse Creel was a bad player from the weekend. You'd say a lot of other guys are a bad player too. So that being said, a 3 out of 10, the worst performance on the day. He's going to get better from here. The nerves, you could just see that the nerves were getting the better of him. And I think kind of the same thing for the Springboks as well. It's not about who you're playing, it's about who you're playing with and who you're playing for. And I think for him, being in the black jersey, playing for the All Blacks in that legendary number 9 jersey, the nerves just got the better of him. So hope to see a bounce back from him. I don't think he'll get another opportunity right now, but maybe down the line. I think they still have to play, I don't know who they still have to play this year. England, Scotland, or Wales. Maybe against Wales you get an opportunity down the line. Moving on to number 10, Richie Mwanga. I've gone for a 6 out of 10. Started the game off very rusty. You could see that he still had that rust. But throughout the game, gained a lot of confidence. And you could just see he's got a very, not an interesting way, but a very... the way he approaches the attack, he's very smart with how he attacks, the way he kind of manipulates the other defenders, and throughout the game you could see the confidence building, you could see the footwork getting better, you could see the playmaking ability coming through. Now I don't think he's going to play against the Springboks right now unless Ruben Love gets injured, but it's good to have him back. You could see he's still one of the main guys, and at the end of the game he was showing some confidence, and I thought the bench brought on a lot of better confidence, a lot of better mental attitude as well, and it went throughout the whole team. So Richie Mwanga, a 6 out of 10. Not his best performance, but really good to see him back in the black jersey. Now moving on to Imoni Narawa, I've gone for a 7 out of 10. Maybe that's a bit too low because I thought he took his opportunities very well tonight. I mean, the breakdown there, we kind of sniped as well. Found himself in some really weird opportunities today, some really weird situations, but he did very well with every single time he was given the ball. With every opportunity he was given tonight, he did very well, and he's been extremely impressive so far throughout this tour. I do expect to see Narawa to play at least once against the Springboks. Hopefully, if he doesn't play against Springboks, hopefully he does get a few caps down the line this year, because he's been brilliant and he's a guy I think will stay in the squad for a while. And you know what's the nice thing about this tour is that I didn't really follow the Super Rugby this year, but I can't wait to go watch some of these guys play in the Super Rugby now. It's going to be the best way to spend my mornings going forward. So if you guys are fans of the channel or do appreciate the kind of content for the All Blacks, I will be covering and following the Super Rugby going forward as well. So that's going to be very fun. Really like what Narawa is doing for the All Blacks. Should be fun to watch him for club as well. Now moving on to number 12, Tamosi Tavatanawai. I've seen all the nicknames from him in the comments. What an absolute beast. I'm going for a 9 out of 10 for him. I mean, what more could he have done today? He showed his physicality. He showed he was dominant. He didn't take a backward step for anyone. He could be a guy we could see in the number 22 or number 23 jersey for the Springboks. He was absolutely brilliant. Physical, dominant, played with a lot of... what's the right word? With a bit of an attitude, and I absolutely love that about him tonight. So Tamosi Tavatanawai, really good performance, a 9 out of 10. This might be the one that might be a bit too high, but every single time he had the ball, he was dominant, good at the breakdown as well, slowed down the opposition ball, and he's one of those guys, he almost plays like an extra loose forward, and you need a centre to be like that nowadays. Of course, I don't think he's going to start in front of Jordie Barrett or Quinn Tupaia, but he could be the perfect guy since the All Blacks play a 5-3 split to bring him off from the bench. What a good player he would be. Can you imagine bringing on Xavier Numia, Asafo Amua, and a guy like Tamosi Tavatanawai from the bench? That would be absolutely incredible for the All Blacks. Moving on to number 13, Rico Ioane, and I've gone for an 8 out of 10, believe it or not. I thought he was absolutely solid tonight. I thought Rico Ioane is actually kind of reignited his All Blacks career, reinvigorated his All Blacks career, whatever you want to call it. He's really been playing some very good rugby for the All Blacks. I think the one thing that really stood out to me from him, yes, you saw the line breaks, yes, you saw the flashy stuff, the physicality, how he out-dominated other people, but just the basics and the fundamentals. I think that was the one thing that was lacking from him in the last few seasons. His basics and his fundamentals tonight were absolutely brilliant, and there's some good scores in. You might have thought, why on earth was it such a close game? I think some of those key positions, some key mistakes in key positions tonight, and just a lack of focus in some areas of the game really did cost the All Blacks tonight. I thought they did not expect the Lions to come at them the way they did, but Rico Ioane was the one guy. He was always had his head in the game. He was physical, and his fundamentals really came to play today. At the end of the day in rugby, speed always wins. Speed is a killer, and Rico Ioane has so much speed. He could really be a very good guy to bring on in the number 23 jersey for the All Blacks in one of these games. Or maybe if something does happen to Quinn Tupaia, I think All Blacks fans would agree, he's probably the first guy you're putting in the number 13 jersey now if Quinn Tupaia gets injured with the way he's playing right now. So for me, being a Rico Ioane fan growing up, watching 2017 how he tore up the Lions, I'm very, very happy that he's playing some good rugby again, and he's absolutely tearing the house down on this tour, looking really good. Hope to see him get a few international caps as well this year. Moving on to number 14, Finianga-Nofu. I'm going for a 7 out of 10. He got over 100 carrying meters, but I just didn't really see him that much. It's a very weird game from him. Obviously, you do see the afro stepping around all the time. I thought today was actually a big opportunity for a guy like Finianga-Nofu, and I thought Emoni Narawa was just a little bit better today with regards to work rate, physicality, and taking your opportunities. But that being said, either one of those wings, I think on any given day, if you didn't have a Will Jordan, or if Will Jordan had to play fullback as Mackenzie's injured, or Josh Morby and the other guys like Leroy Carter couldn't play, I think Emoni Narawa and the likes of Finianga-Nofu are the perfect guys to bring into the team, and they could start any game against the Springboks and still make a good impact. So those two guys playing some really good rugby together, going to be very interesting when they both go back to their clubs and play some very good rugby for their clubs as well. Number 15, Beauden Barrett. Bit of a weird performance because he did some things okay, some things poorly, but overall I've gone for a 5 out of 10. Now, I heard the commentator saying he was really good tonight. Personally, I didn't see it, and this is not me being harsh on Beauden Barrett. I just thought he made some silly mistakes, got caught with the ball, got caught lacking a few times. Got out-muscled, out-dominated a few times as well. Maybe a bit slow with some of his decision-making. There were some times where he looked pretty good, but other than that, I think a few opportunities where he almost got a half break, but I think for Beauden Barrett, that's probably the theme of his game. It's just so many things that almost happened. None of those things really did happen. So a 5 out of 10 for him, but you can see he's getting better throughout the tour, but still, I don't think he's going to be in the All Blacks team for a while now, unless they really do need him. But talking about the bench, I'm going for an 8 out of 10, because that bench was absolutely brilliant tonight. You know what? Actually, I'm going for a 9 out of 10 for the bench because they brought the passion, they brought the physicality, they brought the intensity. Xavier Numia at scrum time was absolutely brilliant. Those guys came and showed up from the bench. Peter Laka as well brought the intensity. I thought Kyle Preston as well. You could see the difference in the kind of the service from the breakdown, the speed, the quality of the ball. Anton Leonard Brown came on and he was good as well. A 9 out of 10 for the bench. And of course, I think if you were to swap those things around and start the guys that were on the bench for the All Blacks and put the guys on the bench that started for the All Blacks, it would be the same thing, because at the end of the day, these guys just have a different fitness level right now. They're battle hardened. Even at Ellis Park, this was still a bit of a preseason game for the Lions. They showed up really well, but a very commanding final quarter of the game for the All Blacks. So that is a very big positive. Xavier Numia has to play against the Springboks. Even me as a Springboks fan, I can see this. He has to play. What more does he have to do? He's physical, he's so mobile, he's so powerful, he's so explosive, and he's such a flippin' good scrummager as well. So Xavier Numia has to play against the Springboks. Numia and Amua off the bench. That is a scary side for my Springboks. So that is my player ratings. We'll go through it one more time. Siali Luaki 4, Sabatoni Takiaho 5, Pasilio Tosi 6 out of 10, Sam Darry 6, Patrick Tuipolotu 6, Ethan Blackadder 8, brilliant performance. Wallace Atiti much better, 7 out of 10. Samisi Tupota Yaloa 5 out of 10, Noah Hotham 3 out of 10, Richie Mwanga 6, Imoni Narawa 7 out of 10. For the centers, Tavatanawai 9 out of 10, Riku Iwani 8 out of 10, Fehi Finyanganofo 7 out of 10, Bowden Barrett 5 out of 10, and for the bomb squad for the All Blacks, a 9 out of 10. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys agree, and if you do disagree, let me know down below why. This was a bit more of a difficult player ratings for me. I think the player ratings didn't really jump out at me the way it did for the other games, and that is a good thing. It was very difficult to test myself as well with some of these players I don't know. So once again, thank you so much for all the support. The likes on the videos go such a long way. Subscribing as well, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.